Good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you might be. My name is Kevin Michael Grace, and this is the KMG show. So, Ruth Bader Ginsburg finally slipped the mortal coil. We're talking about this on Friday's show. But it tells me that I see a lot of people on the internet that call themselves constitutionalists, and these are overwhelmingly good-hearted men and women. But of course, if everyone understood what the Constitution of the United States meant, then it wouldn't be such a big deal who was on the Supreme Court, would it? But the hysteria that has resulted from RBG's death tells me that, yeah, it matters enormously. And you've probably seen the video of some woman in her car who is just screeching. She's just at the end of her limit because RBG, the notorious RBG, is dead. Of course, other people must find this strange that, oh yeah, RBG, she's this old Jewish woman and she's like almost 90 years old. So we're going to say that she's like a gangster, and that's a good thing. How is that a good thing? Exactly. That she's like a gangster. But this is what our politics have been reduced to at the present time. It's so funny to me. And now, of course, Donald Trump, he can't dare nominate and secure someone to the Supreme Court to replace her. Well, why not? Okay. Oh, it's never been done before. Yeah, actually, it has been done lots and lots of times. You know, there were Supreme Court nominees who were chosen within a few days of someone dying. It's not a new thing at all, but no. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, it's like, what? She's like some sort of sacred person. How did that happen? Exactly. And you see, these memes, they make themselves, these women slurping down red wine and, oh my God, this is the end of my life. What? You didn't know this person. This is a strange thing about modern celebrity is that it's people becoming more attached to strangers than they have ever become attached to people that they actually knew in their lives. Their parents, brothers, sisters, children, or whatever. Oh no, here's this celebrity called Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and she's the notorious RBG. And yeah, so what does that mean to you? Why are you so upset about this? I really don't get it. I really don't get it. I thought I would talk, with the death of the notorious RBG, you have all these people talking about abortion rights, reproductive rights, they call them now. And yeah, it's abortion. It's a sacred thing. Roe versus Wade, that made abortion a sacred thing in America. And I'm thinking, what's wrong with these people? I've had people talk to me and say, oh no, you've never been in that situation where, well, actually I have been in that situation. Oh, unwanted pregnancy. Yeah, okay. And what am I going to do? Am I going to kill the baby? Why would I do that? Only a monstrous person would kill a baby. I understand revenge. I understand people wanting to get back at people who've hurt them, but what's a baby ever done to you? The baby is small and helpless. And so you want to kill it? Why would you want to do that? That's absolutely monstrous to want to do that. And, I find I say this sort of thing to people and they say, oh, you're like a hero or something. No, I'm not a hero. I just stand against killing helpless people. I mean, Who is in favor of killing the helpless? I mean, that would just be the most terrible thing in the world, you know? But again, this is the world that we live in. Let's have a look at the chat here. RBG, a very sexual lady, says Shogakin 666. Yeah, well, she was an attractive woman when she was young, no question about it. RBG was just a group of cells. Again, from Shogakin 666. Yeah, that is funny. That is funny. I mean, I remember when my first child was born when I was 27 years old. And all the people that I worked with at the University of British Columbia, they were like, oh, like, this is amazing. And I'm thinking, is it? Is it really amazing? Because my understanding of sexual intercourse is that if you have sex enough times with a lady, then a child is going to result. But everyone acts as if, no, how did this happen? Well, Muriel Spark in one of her novels says, yeah, in the usual way, I would expect. You know, exactly. But now we're supposed to think that, oh, well, how did that happen? What? What are you talking about? How did it happen? How did you exist? How did you come to be? The same way that it's always been throughout history. But now we're so arrogant that we think that, no, yeah, we can just put this whole birth thing out of the way. It's not going to happen because, you know, we're smarter. We're so smart now. Everything that's happened in the world beforehand, no, it's not going to happen to us anymore because, you know, we've taken precautions. It's too funny to me. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. It is, yeah. I'm thinking about that video, which I linked to on Twitter. Our collective Twitter brains when we heard about the news, Notorious RGB, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and there's some woman with problem glasses who is screeching in her car, no, no, no. And like, what? What's going on here? This is like a 5-year-old being told that her pet rabbit has died, only with more profanity, you know? And I don't know, I guess since my father died this year, and I've been thinking more about my own mortality. But these people, they seem to think that, oh no, of course, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was going to live forever. What, she had like 10 different kinds of cancer? And we were all supposed to believe that, oh no, she was just a dynamo, a titan. She just got out of her hospital bed and she was just writing up a storm. I was talking about this on Friday when I was told on live stream that she was dead. And I really thought, yeah, she's going to live forever, isn't she? Or that we're going to be told that she's going to live forever. Because how can you prove that someone is actually dead? That, oh, no, it doesn't really matter that she doesn't go to the hearings anymore. Oh, she hears the tapes and she is just so on top of everything. And I joked at the time that she was dead, you know, and that this was being kept a secret. But later I thought, again, how could you tell? You know? And when we finally learned on Friday that she was dead, I thought, okay, I'm kind of surprised that this has happened because they could have kept up this gag forever, that she was still alive and she was still the brainiest person in the world. And yeah, everyone was just in awe of her greatness. Let's see, what do we have here? Okay. This cloud be tipsy, says YT. All right. Nah, I don't think so. I'm really amused looking at Twitter talking about Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Donald Trump appointing someone to the Supreme Court. That, no, this is unthinkable. Well, no, it actually isn't. But there's this guy on Twitter called Ian Millhiser. And I'm thinking, oh, he's described as a senior correspondent for Vox, author of Injustices, the Supreme Court's history of comforting the comfortable and afflicting the afflicted. And Ian is a common name in Canada, but it's not really a common name in the United States. And I'm thinking that I don't really think that someone called Ian is actually going to understand the United States of America. And Ian Millhiser proves this day after day after day. He doesn't seem to understand that America is not a pure democracy, that America was set up in such a way that the most powerful states, the most populous states, would not run the show. That's why, say, Wyoming and Rhode Island have the same amount of senators as New York and California. But this guy, apparently he just figured this out, and he's just furious about this. And now, let's see, important discussion here by Ian Millhiser. You can't fully discuss election rigging without discussing voter suppression. And there's a picture of someone holding up a sign saying, "Protect my vote." And like, who's stopping you from voting? Who's stopping you? No one is stopping you. Oh, you need picture ID in order to vote. Yeah, and you need picture ID to do pretty much everything in the United States. I remember when I moved to California in 1994, that a fellow who worked there, he took me to the DMV, and you've got to get some ID. Because if you don't, you're not really going to be able to do anything in the United States. And I thought, okay, sure, that's how it works. And so I waited in line for the longest time, and eventually I got my picture ID. And okay, so now I'm set. Oh, so black people, apparently there's tens of millions of black people in the United States who don't have picture ID. And so how do they actually, rent an apartment, or, get an internet connection, or fly in an airplane, or any of these things? Because you can't do any of this without picture ID. You can't. But we're all supposed to pretend that, oh, this is such a big, big problem. Let's again look at the chat here. Checks in the mail. Wish I could send more, says Chokin666. Well, thank you. Dionysius says, I totally relate to KMG when he talks about his days being poor. He should talk about how to cope, seeing that many people now in poverty will be soon. Well, one of the things that strikes me about politicians today is how little connection that they have with the real world. Because when you have been poor, then you have an understanding that other people do not have. And it used to be the case that politicians would know all sorts of people in life, and they would have an understanding of the different levels of life as it is lived. But now they all start deciding when they're 12 years old, they're going to be prime minister or president or whatever. And when they're in university, oh yeah, okay, I'm going to do this political thing. And they get out of university, and the first thing they do is become, chief of staff to some politician. And such that the way that most people live in the world is completely alien to them. Completely alien. Hang on, what we got here? Scottis. All right. Ian Millhiser. Yeah. This is so funny. That, oh no, the idea that a person from Wyoming is 68 times more valuable than a person from California is evil, and it should be treated as such, even though it's written in our Constitution. Like, this guy woke up today and he figured this out, that the founders of the United States decided that, it's not going to be a pure democracy. We are not going to allow the most populous states to rule everything. And, apparently this means that Donald Trump is going to win. He won in 2016. He might win in 2020. And this is absolutely impossible. He's retweeted something here from Dante Atkins. Scottus has been on the wrong side of progress more often than not. And if you want a good history of how bad it has been, read Ian Millsiser's excellent book on the subject, Injustices. Here we go. 6 hours ago from Ian Millsiser, abolish the Senate. Again, that video that I think everyone has seen of the woman screaming in the car when she finds out that Ruth Bader Ginsburg is dead. Ian Millsiser is pretty much the same guy. Abolish the Senate. This is not giving us what we want, so we must get rid of it. Again, I'm hosting a new podcast mini-series on voting rights during the 2020 election. The first episode talks a lot about the Supreme Court has dismantled those rights, which seems especially relevant now. Exactly how does this work? Whose voting rights have been taken away? And Ian Millsiser, he's just on an absolute storm here. Just a reminder that I wrote an entire book about how the Supreme Court has always been one of the worst, most reactionary institutions in the United States. Oh, and let's see, 9 hours ago, the Supreme Court is an anarchist jurisdiction. Is it? Really? I mean, you win some, you lose some. I was talking on the internet yesterday about this fellow called Bumbling America. That's what he called himself. And after the 2016 election, he wrote about how we were all tempted to laugh at these people screaming, "Ree!" Because Trump had won the election. And he said that these people are our friends, our neighbors, our family members, and we must pray that they're made whole again. But again, you win some, you lose some, right? But these people just do not get that. Let's see, Ian Millsiser, 9 hours ago. This is one of the many completely lawless actions by Donald Trump that I was close to 100% sure would be struck down on Thursday. Now, I'm not so sure again. You see that video with Nancy Pelosi that she's being interviewed on ABC by George Stephanopoulos? And she goes, ... and there's a pause, and she says, "Good morning." Like, this woman is completely senile, right? But we're all supposed to pretend that, well, no, she's not senile. She's a very smart person. She's a speaker of the House of Representatives. So, we don't want to be disrespectful to her. It's too funny. Too funny. Okay. Let's go back to the chat here. Elections being decided by a popular vote was not accepted by all of the framers or all of the states, says Yo Mama. Okay. Chad Chasson, our valiant moderator, says good morning, Sunday morning. It's Monday morning, actually, Monday afternoon, as it turns out. But I don't know. You ever get the feeling that you're living in a world full of children? That's just a completely childish world where, people are screaming and jumping up and down, pulling their hair out. And, okay. You don't always get your way. That's how the world works. Again, sometimes you win. Sometimes you lose. I've been involved in this situation for quite some time here, since my father died in May, with my father's estate, where there's a significant sum of money involved. It's not an enormous sum of money, but a significant sum of money. And one of my family members has decided to declare war on the rest of the family. And I find it, I don't know, I suppose I'm not really that surprised, because people being wicked is not really a surprise to me. But it is really depressing, because why are you doing this? Why are you putting everyone through this? You think that if you make a fuss, if you be a horrible person, then you're going to get what you want and everyone is going to stand out of your way. And I don't know. You see this place I'm living in here? This is my father's condo. It's a nice place, and it's a strange situation that I'm in because, so long as this place is not sold, I have a place to live. But on the other hand, so long as it's not sold, it means I'm not going to get the benefits from the estate, So again, it's this kind of Schrodinger's cat situation where, okay, here's a nice place. See the nice view? And, but how long is this going to take? And people tell me these stories, but how long probate can last, that it could last for years. I suppose it could, but the terrible thing about this is the longer that it takes, the more that the lawyers are involved, the less the estate becomes. Good morning, Sunday morning. Yeah, Chad Chadson says, yeah, that will never grow old. Nancy Pelosi being interviewed, where she just sort of wakes up and, oh, so this is where I am now. Is it? YT says, damn, I wish it inherited property, nothing coming away, nothing. Yeah. Again, as I say, it's a terrible situation to be in because you just think, if everyone would get along, then we'd all get our money and everything would be fine. But there's one person in the way who says, nope, not going to do it. I am just going to make a terrible fuss and I'm going to make you wait on me. So, Vox is talking about court packing, a strategy that's been floated by some on the left. Ian Millhiser explains how it works and why it made the Democrats' only option to stop President Trump from replacing Justice Ginsburg. Well, you're going to take the Supreme Court up to what, 12 people, 15 people, 25 people, 100 people? Again, I've seen people talking about this. When is the reaction going to be against Ruth Bader Ginsburg? Because she could have retired when Obama was president and the Democrats had control of the Senate, but she didn't. She didn't want to do it. She was just keen on staying alive and staying in her office forever because, she was never going to die. And then she did die. And she died this year, and that means that Republicans are going to choose someone to take her. Oh, let's see, again from Ian Millhiser. I could go on about Ian Millhiser's Twitter stream forever. Someone named Jed Sugarman says, two staggering historical facts. Democrats are on track to win the popular vote in 6 of the past 7 elections, 1992 to 2020, unprecedented since the Civil War Reconstruction era. Yet Republicans have appointed 14 of the past 18 justices and are now trying for 15 of 19. It's like, this is how the rule works, okay? This is how the rule works. Again, Millhiser idea, a constitutional system where leaders preferred by a majority of the electorate are chosen to govern. A retweet from Jason Lincoln's, everyone understands that if Biden gets elected and there are 51 Republican senators, Biden won't get his cabinet confirmed, right? And then sanity and instinct for self-preservation. The fact that I want my life to live. Who's trying to kill your wife? Ian Millhiser. What are you talking about? Oh, wait. And again, from yesterday, the Constitution is a suicide pact. There's a famous verdict of the United States Supreme Court where I think was it Justice Robert Jackson said the Constitution is not a suicide pact? But he's quoting Nate Silver. We ran the numbers, and the Senate is currently around 6 to 7 points more Republican than the country as a whole, based on the position of the median states relative to the national average. That means Dems need landslide margins to win the Senate. I genuinely feel sorry for journalists who cover life and death conflicts that could potentially destroy millions of lives, as if they were musical theater. What a truly pitiable way to spend your career. Again, you ever get the feeling that we're governed by children, stamping their feet, tearing their hair? Absolutely outrageous, but that's the world we live in now. See what's going on in the chat here. Do you guys think Trump will push someone through? Well, he's talked about this, Cocaine Mitch, of straight off putting through someone. And we have we have Mitt Romney, the eternal Mormon, deciding against, but 50-50, right? And if it's 50-50, then Pence will make the choice. And Susan Collins, what a strange woman she is. It's like, if you look at this woman's history, she has never had a private sector job in her life. And she is seemingly like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, determined to stay in office forever. That when she was first elected, she said, oh, I'm only going to serve 2 terms. Yep. Well, it's like 24 years after this, and she is not going anywhere.